Hey, this is Little Talk with Big Nikki.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back for another episode of Little Talks with Big Nikki. I am your host, Big Nikki. Happy Friday, everybody. Hope y'all are doing well, staying healthy. This week, I know the past couple episodes of the podcast have kind of been centered around like this virus and, just the current state of our world and like what I'm going through, what people are going through on an individual level. But this week, thought I'd take a little time out, a little break from that, talk about something a little bit different. So this podcast episode idea was brought up. I was talking to my boyfriend Ryan. Yes, I have a boyfriend now, everybody. Yay. Relationship alert. Sorry, that was corny. But yeah, so I was talking to him, and I'll give you the title and the topic in a second. And he was like, you should make that a podcast episode. And I was like, you're right, I should. So here he is making it a podcast episode. And then he gets to edit it because he's my editor. Thank you. So appreciative of him and all that he does for me. But yeah, so getting into it, I was having this conversation with him the other night, and he was like, he said, I think he was so proud of himself, and I was proud of him too, but I think he was like so proud of himself because he came up with like this like little like quotable like statement, and then he was like, oh, you should make that a podcast episode. So I'll say his little statement for him, or what he came up with, but he basically was like, I'm calling this or titling this podcast episode Late Adopters. And what he said is, the people closest to you are the last people to follow you, which is good. You did good. But this is, and some of you might be like, what? Like the last people to like follow you on Instagram? No, we're not talking about that. So this was, being talked about like in terms of like, I was expressing to him, I think any content creator feels this way, but when you're a podcaster, when you're a vlogger, YouTuber, whatever you want to title yourself, and it's taken months and years and, people wait a long time to gain any sort of traction with a following, with an audience, and it can get really tough, I guess, on like your mental state. Like I didn't start this, and I don't do this like for the numbers. Like that's not why I do it. I thoroughly enjoy podcasting, and I'm getting to actually really enjoy vlogging. I'm so sorry if you hear noises like thuds and stuff. It's the dog. If you haven't watched my YouTube channel, make sure you watch the episode where Becca got a puppy. He's a lot better now. I still have to do like an update video since he got back from training. He went to, I call it puppy boot camp. I can't talk. Puppy boot camp. But it was like a 3-week board and train. So he's like a really great dog, like super sweet, super lovable. He's still like a puppy though, so he has like that energy and he wants to play. So he's like in the living room, like throwing around his bone. So if you hear a thud, it's the dog just doing his thing. But yeah, I was talking about like, it's just, you don't like do it for the numbers. Like that's not why no like good like YouTuber gets in it because they're like, oh, I want to be famous and I want to be like, I want to have like 2 million subscribers, or like nobody gets into it because of that. You get into it because you're like, oh, like this would be like fun to do. Like I wonder if I can do this. Like I wonder if I can pull this off, and like that's why you get into it. But then it's like once you're in it and you start seeing other people doing what you're doing, but they're having like a super like boatload of success with it, then you're like, what am I doing wrong? And like, why is that not me? Like it's just human nature to think like that. Like not comparing in a bad way necessarily, but it's just like, why am I not to that level? And it's like a lot of those people, they had to wait years to get to that like high of a level. Like But, you know, like I said, it's kind of like it wears on you sometimes because you're spending all this time and this effort and you're putting out this content. It's like, is anyone even listening to this? Like, does anybody actually care what I'm doing, what I am saying? I don't know. Maybe y'all don't. I just updated my YouTube like about me bio section. If you like click on like the about, it gives like that short little like verbiage of, you know, whatever the channel owner wants to say. And I think I said something along the lines of like, does anyone even like care? I don't know, but like you should subscribe. I don't know. But that's the thing, like we all, I think, ask ourselves that, like, does anybody really care? Like, is anything I'm saying important to anybody or relative to anybody? Like, does anyone think I'm funny, or do they just hate me and wish I would crawl in a hole and die? I don't know. But it's just, so talking about that with him and just like, you know, I'm just constantly like, you're grinding out this work and it's like, does anybody care? Is anybody ever gonna care? Like, some people don't catch a break, and it's really hard to, you know, lay there at night and think like, am I just like doing all this for nothing, or like is something gonna come of it? And it's like, I don't know. So then he was like, well, then I was talking about too, like, you know, you would, like I was saying, like all these people like that know me, like I'm not saying like we're best of friends or anything, but like acquaintances and just people I know from like school or work or church, like wherever it's from, like it's like they know I have a YouTube channel, they know I have a podcast, like they know now I have a vlog, because like people like literally say like things to me about sometimes, like, oh, like how's like the podcast going, but it's like I'm like almost certain you're not listening to it. Like I can pretty much like guarantee, because I can kind of like tell, like I can't see who views my videos, I can't see who likes them, I can't see who does and doesn't, but I almost know. Okay, so it's like, it's really like upsetting to me that like, and that's what I was like expressing to him, like all these people know, but then it's like they don't like do anything about it, and like they'll even like try to talk to me about it, like, oh, like how's the podcast going, which is like nice, like I appreciate like when people ask me that, but then it's like, well, how do you think it's going? Like I don't think you're adding to my listens, like or my views on YouTube, so you know it's only going so well right now. And it's just like frustrating to me, because it's like, to me, like you are my people. Like, you are the people that are supposed to be putting me on and like hyping me up, and like you like know I do this, you'll conversate with me about it, but then it's like, do you tell your friend? Like, I understand like not everything is gonna be for everybody, like this podcast is not for everyone, that's totally fine. Like my vlogs are not for everyone, that's totally fine. But it's like, do you even like share it? You never like comment when I like put stuff up on my Instagram. You don't retweet when I, you know, post that my new video is out. You don't put it on your story. Like, and I'm not saying like everybody that I know should be doing that for me like all the time. Like that's very A, narcissistic, B, unrealistic. Sorry, I didn't mean to rhyme, but it did. Narcissistic, unrealistic. I'm just dropping bars, secretly writing a song, guys. I'm just kidding, I'm not right now. But it's like, do you get what I mean? Like, it's just like the people that like you kind of have like this like relationship with. Like if you were to see each other in like Target, you would be like, hey, like what's up, what's going on? Like you know each other to that point. Like if you saw each other in a store, you wouldn't just like walk by the other person, like not say anything. But then it's like, where you at? And like there again, like the whole thing of like, oh, like retweeting it or like posting it on your story or like sharing it or whatever. It's like, okay, I get like that might not be like, that's not realistic. But it's like, are you even listening to it? Like when I do put it on my story, are you even going to my channel? are you going to my channel, maybe not even listening to it, but giving it a thumbs up because it's me and you want to support in some way you can? Like, you can't listen to it right now, but you're going to give it a thumbs up anyway, or go to Spotify and like follow me, like something. Right? Like, this is how like my brain thinks, but maybe that's just me. I don't know. So just like, it's very frustrating. And like, that's when he said, he was like, cause he's like in a band, him and, well, I don't know how much I want to get into it. There's like a whole backstory to like why Ryan is even in Ohio right now. And like, it's just an act of God, like all the way around, of like how I even know him, met him, everything. It's just, God's been working for like over like a year or two just on that, which is crazy when I stop and think about it. But anyway, so it's like, okay, so he's part of a band, so he was like, no, like, I get it. And he was like, I feel like it's like the people who are closest to you are like the last to like kind of hop on the bandwagon. He was like, and you know, he watches like other like filmmakers and documentary makers and things like that, and like they have a YouTube channel, and so he kind of like hears, you know, how people kind of get famous or get well known. And he's like, in my experience of like what I've heard and listened to, and I would agree with him on this because I've heard this too, it's like literally like you have to build like an outside audience of people like who don't even know you, and then all of a sudden like the people that know you hop on the bandwagon, and they're like, it was so funny because he was like doing it in like a voice when I was talking to him, and he was like but I was an OG, like I was there from the beginning, like I'm an OG, remember me, like Big Nikki, like let's go. And it's like, but you weren't. Like, see, that's the thing. So like everybody's gonna hop on the bandwagon once the bandwagon's a bandwagon, but before, nobody's gonna make it a bandwagon themselves. So it's like, don't y'all, I'm telling y'all right now, if you're listening to this and you're thinking the shoe fits, I'm telling y'all right now, if I do pop off on YouTube or with this podcast or whatever, don't y'all come back to me and be like, I was there since the beginning and I was watching and I was sharing. Like, no, you weren't, because I know who was and who isn't. So I have a very, 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 very small group in number of people who literally go out of their way to listen, to like, to repost, to share, like, and comment, and like, y'all, like, if you are one of those people and you know who you are, I appreciate you so much, and you are not going to be forgotten. You are not going to be forgotten. It's kind of funny because like I just said that and I just kind of have flashbacks to like in the Bible, like where it's like Jesus is saying like, if you like deny my Father on earth, he'll like deny you like when you like get to heaven. He'll be like, you didn't tell anyone about me on earth. Like, I don't know who you are. You're like trying to come up in like my house now in the pearly gates, like and it's like, I feel that, God. I feel that. Like, yeah, like you tell him, like, you ain't claim me then, you ain't claiming me now, and like reaping the benefits. Oh, I feel that's a mood. That's a mood. Savage Jesus, as Pastor Furtick would say. That's it though. So yeah, like I got that same type of energy. Like, you ain't claiming me now, you ain't claiming me then. Like, don't try to hop on the bandwagon once it's cool, you know? Like, and there again, like, you don't have to relate to all my content. Like I said, this isn't for everyone, but like, I don't know, like, do what you can. I don't know, it's just hard. Like, even like other people, there's like been people like I follow on social media, like I'm not even close to them really, but I see like they like start a YouTube channel or something, and it's like I'll admit, like, I don't really like watch like their videos necessarily, but I like subscribed at least. Like, I'm like subscribed like to their channel. And it's like, that's like, to me, I'm like, that's the least I could do is like give you a subscription. Like, even if I'm not like watching like weekly or like whenever you're putting your content out, like I'm still subscribed. Like, that's like one of the first things I do. And it's like, if something was good, like if something's good that like I might not take time out like to watch it, which is like why I started doing this. Like I started posting on my Instagram. Like I started posting like 2 to 3 minute clips of like these like podcast episodes like on my Instagram, like IGTV, to hopefully then like get people to listen to the whole thing, because if they like what they hear in the 2 to 3 minutes, like maybe you should check out the whole episode, just a thought. But it's like I might not search out your content, but if you put something on like your IG that like I listen to and I'm like, dang, like this is good, I don't care who you are, like I'm sharing it. Like you know what I mean? Like just if I come across, like, there again, I'm not the best at like seeking stuff out from people, but it's like if it's in front of my face and like I relate to it and I think it's good, like it's probably getting a like, probably maybe even getting a comment, and then like from there I'll probably put it on my story if I like think it's good and like other people should hear it. So it's like, I don't know, that's how I operate, but maybe not everybody's like that, so I don't know. But yeah, just talking about like, it's like the people closest to you are going to be like some of the last people to like actually get up to speed on things. And it's like, you would think it would be the opposite of like the people closest to you should be the ones like right now when you're not very big, like building you up, hyping you up, putting you on, like, but it's like they're not. And like it's just crazy to me like that's kind of how like the flow of things is. But I mean, I guess it makes sense, but it's just tough. It's like it's just like it's just tough, because like I said, like you're just you're putting like these podcasts, like depending on the podcast, like some of them I put more time into than others, but it's like like putting your time and your effort in, and then it's like, there again, like, is anybody even listening to me? Like, does anybody even care? Vlogging, well, and I was talking to Ryan too about this, like it's so funny to me. So like vlogging for me is like a lot less time intensive, and like it's just like a lot easier and faster for me to vlog something, but it's so much more time for him to edit. Whereas like this podcast, like not even talking about like prepping the podcast, but like getting, like the ring light set up and the camera and the mic and like the audio recorder, like getting everything like together for the podcast is like a whole to do and like a really big like hoopla. But and yes, I just said hoopla on the podcast. I regret nothing. But it's like this whole big ordeal, but then it's like, for him, it's like so quick to edit. Like that's why I'm like, okay, if I give you the podcast on this day, can it be done by this day? He's like, I can literally have it done this same day, because it like is not a big deal for him to edit, like time wise, like it's really quick. And I just think it's like so funny that it's like so polar opposite. Like, I don't know, it's just so polar opposite. And like that's the thing with like the vlogs, like y'all see like let's say I put out like a 16-minute vlog, which I would say is average time. To me, a vlog is between like 9 and 20 minutes. I mean, some vlogs go over 20 minutes depending on what the content is, which is fine. That's what people are always like so caught up on, like, oh, well, it's like this many minutes long. And I'm like, I don't care. If it's worth watching for that many minutes, it's fine. So like that's my priority. Like I am not stuck on time. Like you'll see my videos range like all over the place, but it's like my concern is what I'm putting in that video for whatever length of time, even if it was 8 minutes, is it in my opinion good enough for someone to watch that whole time? And if I think so, then it's fine with me. But what was I saying? I'm too young for this. I'm losing my train of thought. But like with the vlog, like you guys, oh, that's what I was saying. It came back to me, guys. I'm losing it. With the vlog, like y'all might see like a 16-minute video, but it's like, do you understand the hours that went into that 16-minute video? Like hours. Like, because typically for a 60-minute vlog, you have easily probably 35 to 40 minutes of content. And then it's like all like the little effects or like text or like whatever we do to it to try to like make it more like appealing or more funny. Like, it's like, I mean, this stuff like takes time. And like, I'm not saying like we're even out here doing the most, because we're not. Like, you know, we're still trying to like find like my groove with things and stuff. But it's just like, it's like no joke at times. So it just is discouraging sometimes when you're putting so much of yourself into something and like not seeing any results. And I think like that goes for anything. Like, people feel like that about working out. Like, they're like, I've been working out for a month and I haven't even dropped a pound. And it's like, how discouraging is that? Like, it's so discouraging. And I'm gonna transition this actually. I feel like God does this to me. He's like, listen, you just talk and I'm just gonna put things in your mouth for you to say, and you better say them. So like, transitioning into that, like, that it's discouraging when like you're not seeing results. I have been on the struggle bus. I know I've talked about this before, but like, especially this week, it's just like hitting me, like struggling to just pray. And like, I was talking to Ryan about this too, and I was just like, it's so hard for me because it's like, I'm praying, and it's like mentally something internally within me can only pray for so long about the same thing without seeing anything like coming of it. Like, does that make sense? Like, it's like I can literally only pray so many times about something before I like just give up because it's like not happening. And that is really sucky of me and like really not good, because that's the whole point of prayer, is like God's, excuse me, got the burps. Excuse me. I am so sorry. I'm trying to be serious right now and my body's just not having it. Excuse me. That was not very ladylike for me to burp. That was sarcasm, by the way. Like, let women burp. Okay, anyway. But it's like, that's the whole point of praying, is because it's like in God's timing, not your timing. Like, you might, like, there are people who give their testimony and say like, I was praying, you know, like I think I heard one woman pastor say something along the lines of like, I was praying for like 3 years that like God would give me like a baby. 3 years? Okay, now like, I got questions. Was that like every day, or was that just like for 3 years, you know, like maybe once a week, twice a month, you were kind of like, hey God, like, remember, I still want that baby? Or were you like praying? Because like, sorry, I'm trying to get comfortable. Because you know, like those like prayers where like the first time you pray something, you're just filled, like you're just feeling it, like you're just in it, and you're like, God, like, yes, like you're like God of the impossible, and you're gonna move, and you're gonna do this, and I'm like hitting my plant, I'm so sorry, and you're gonna move, and you're gonna heal, and you're gonna do, and you're gonna like, just, you're just lit. And then it's like week 3 and you're like, God, I was excited. Did you not hear? Like, I said, like, you were awesome and like you could do it, so like, you gonna do it or like not? Like, it's been 3 weeks and like, it's like gradually like it's almost like wearing you down. Like, sometimes it like really wears your faith down. You're like, God, like, for real, like, like, and 3 weeks isn't even that long, but it's like, for some things it's like, are you hearing what I'm saying? And then it's like, you know, for some things it's like 3 months, and like the passion and like the eagerness that you had in the beginning slowly dwindles down as you're waiting and like, we're not talking about like something like there's times in life where like God won't give you like the whole thing because he's like, yo, you can't handle that right now. You can't handle the truth. Like, that's what he's saying. Like, you can't handle it right now. Like, you need to learn to steward this. So I'm gonna give you this little itty bitty right here, like just a little bit, just a little taste. And then like when I see like how you handle that and steward that, like then I'll give you some more. I'll give you some more. It's like a buildup. Like sometimes God will do that. I'm talking about the situations and the times. Can again, amen. Sorry, I'm going to be preaching because I am in this right now, guys. I'm talking about this because I am in this right now. Like the situations where it's literally been 2 months, 3 months, and you don't know how many more months it's going to be. And you're like, you going to give me anything? Like, it's quiet up in here. It is slow moving over here. Like, you're just like, is my connection not good? Like, did the line, did my Wi-Fi go out? Did the heavenly Wi-Fi go out? You not getting my text, God? You not getting my DM? Like, I don't know what's going on here. And it slowly breaks down that eagerness and that passion that like you once had to like keep praying. You're like, God, every night I'm saying the same thing. Like this is what I was telling Ryan. Like, it's so hard for me because it's like, he already knows. He already knows what I'm angry about. He already knows what I'm frustrated about. He knows what I'm thankful for. See, this is the one thing. I don't have a problem repeating what I'm thankful for. Like, when I do pray, like, let's say I am, like, praying daily. Like, I should be praying multiple times a day. I should be, but I'm not. Because I'm not perfect. I have no problem saying, like, repeatedly what I'm thankful for. Like, God, yes, thank you for just another day. My body is healthy. I can walk, I can talk, and I can go and do and hear and see and smell, and like my internal organs I think are functioning properly as well as, as far as I know and am concerned. So it's like, God, like, thank you so much for that. And it's like, thanks for my parents and like, my friends and like the people around me. Like, I have a very good like group of people around me in my life. Don't y'all come for me for the first part of this podcast when I was just like when I was just saying like the people in my life, weren't like hyping my podcast or my YouTube channel up. Like, that's not saying that they're not good people to have in my life. That is not at all what I am saying. Gosh, what a double-edged sword I just walked myself into. Okay, just comment whatever you want below. Just I had that one coming. It's whatever. I love everybody in my life. Like, this, if the shoe does fit, I don't have an issue with you. I don't like not like you and like not love and respect you. Like, that's not what I'm saying. It's just hard sometimes where it's like, where are you at? Like, like, you're another view, you're another like what if you told your friend and like they told their friend? Like, you never know like where it could go. Like, if you just like kind of throw it out there. I don't know. That's all I'm saying, guys. But I still love and respect you. Okay, let's just make that clear. But it's like, thank you, God, for like the people in my life and like a roof over my head and like food in my stomach and like stuff like that. Like, I have no problem repeating thanks and gratitude. But for some reason, when it comes to requests and needs, and Lord knows I am in a season of needing right now, that just like the discouragement that you just feel when you are not seeing results is so real. Listen, I'm talking real right now. You get on your high horse, be all righteous if you want, and be like, I pray every day and I have just as much passion yesterday or today as I did 5 years ago. Like, I'm still praying for this. And it's like, you know what? If that's true, good for you. And I wish I had your secret, whatever it is. You should share it, because any real Christian, let's talk. let's talk. I'm talking to the real Christians, the people who you have faith, you love God, you're never questioning if he is able. You ain't questioning if he's able. I told Ryan, I said, I know he's able. I know, even though it seems impossible right now. Elevation, I'll give Elevation Worship a plug. Like I don't give Elevation enough plugs, but I'll give Elevation Worship a plug. They just came out with a new song, Rattle. Very good. If you haven't heard it, it dropped for their Easter service. You should listen to it. But in the verse, it says, like, when has impossible ever stopped you? And it's like, so you like, and I think I said this on the other podcast, like, God is able, but you're sitting here after weeks and months of praying for the same thing, and you're saying, God, are you willing? Like, I know you're able, I know you can, but will you? Like, and that's the place I'm at right now, because it's like, I'm looking at the time clock of reality, and I'm looking at how my life is going and how my bank account is going. And see, there again, my eyes aren't on God, but see, I'm keeping it real, y'all. The whole thing where it's like, keep your eyes on Jesus. Like Peter, like, don't sink. Like, you gotta keep your eyes on him. That's absolutely 100% true. You do need to keep your eyes on him, but do you? In reality, no, because you're human, and this is what you do. You look over here and look down and look over there, and we're not perfect. Like, that's sometimes it's like, okay, stop just for a second. Someone tweeted this, some Christian author or pastor, I don't remember who it was. Someone said, like, y'all don't want to hear another scripture verse right now. Like, I don't need to hear keep your eyes on Jesus right now. I need to hear how I'm supposed to keep enough faith to keep praying that God gives me a job before I end up literally, like, homeless, because in 2.5 months I have to move out of my apartment. I don't have somewhere to go, and I don't have a job to even go to another leasing office and say, oh, I can pay you this much money per month in rent. So it's like, yeah, right now it's looking pretty impossible, looking pretty like it's not realistic, not gonna happen. And it's like, I know God can come through, and he might just be waiting. So then when it happens, it's like, because he's done this in the Old Testament, especially, like, a ton of times. He's like, he waited because he was like, if you went with this, you would tell people you did it, but because you had to wait, and it was just you, and 300 men, not you and 12,000 men, you knew it came from me, not from you and your ability. So he might just be waiting it out, making me sweat a little bit. Oh, God ever make you sweat a little bit? Sorry, I sound like Furtick. I'm so sorry. That's how you know you've been listening to too much Furtick. I just had this. God ever make you sweat a little bit? I might want to. I'll write a message out about this, but like, God's making me sweat, and in the waiting, which is so crucial, it is also the most discouraging time and the hardest time to keep asking for what you want to receive. Like the Bible lays out, like, promises, like, God makes for everyone. Like, I know, like, in the way back of my mind, like, I know I'm gonna be provided for and cared for, and, like, God is not just gonna, like, let me, like, not have food, and like I know, like, I'm gonna be provided for. I was told that, like, I know that is a promise, but it's like, knowing and believing are two total different things when it comes to this. Like, something, like, there again, I know God is able, but do I believe that he is willing, and do I believe that he will do it? And it's like, it's just so hard in this waiting season when you are in such desperate need and you're not seeing any results. You're like, I'm supposed to keep praying about this, like, in a way that makes sense. Like, well, yeah, you're supposed to keep praying about it, obviously, because it hasn't come to pass. Like, it hasn't, like, happened yet. Like, what you're asking for hasn't been given to you. But then it's also like, really? I'm supposed to keep praying about this day in and day out? Like, how many times do I gotta say it? But then it's like, too, it's like he just wants you to be obedient. He just wants to know that you are going, no matter how discouraging it gets, that you're still, like, every day gonna be like, God, please give me a job. Like, I need a job, and I need money for an apartment. And it sounds so, like, stupid in a way, because you're like, obviously God knows that. Like, he's not dumb. Like, he knows. He made the world, like, work the way it works. Like, things cost money. Like, he knows that. But it's like, it's so hard to keep just asking and, like, keep going after that, like, request, when it's like you're not hearing anything, you're not seeing anything, and you're just sitting in discouragement. Sitting in your own sweat and discouragement is where I'm at right now. So that's, I wish I had an answer for y'all. I told y'all this is not really like an advice channel. I am not here to give you answers, because I do not have any myself. I am just here to lay out, like, what is happening, what I'm feeling, what I'm going through and thinking, and, like, that's where I'm at right now. It is hard to pray. I am in the middle of being discouraged with seeing no results. And that's where I'm at. And it is hard. Keeping, there again, not even, like, I don't even want to say, like, keeping faith, because, like, there again, like, I know what God can do, but it's like, do I believe he's going to do it? I don't know. And I feel like that's what you sit, like, that's what you sit in. The middle of, like, discouragement is, I don't know. And because you don't know, like, you're discouraged, because you're like, this could go one of two ways right now. It could be really good or really not good. In the grand scheme, I have to just keep telling myself that there is an entire plan for my life. There is an entire purpose for my life. And whatever little, things go along the way with that, it's, what it is. But it's hard while you're in it. And in, like, the little stepping stones, along the way. It's hard. It's hard not to lose faith and lose patience, and to keep just requesting and asking, and believing that, that whatever is best for you will come to fruition. It's not an easy thing to always believe that and to always have that mindset. I'm trying. This is something I'm trying to work through. I've never gone through this before, like, to this extent of being in this much need in what I would consider kind of a short amount of time, but a long enough amount of time where it's like, God, where are you at? Like, are you listening? This is not the way I thought my life was going to be right now. If you would have asked me a year ago what I thought my April and May of 2020 was going to look like, it would not have been this. But you know what? I've said that before. I said, if you asked me 4 years ago, like, what or what I thought, like, my life would be like, I would have never answered anything that I have done or been doing now. So, and that's in a good way. Like, that's in, like, that was for the better. Like, God giving me, like, more than I ever thought was, like, possible. And it's like, I just have to keep believing that, that's going to be the case this time around too. Like, even if it doesn't seem to, like, be going the way that I think it should go, like, that in the end it's, like, better than even what, like, my idea of right now was or would have been. Yeah, I think that's the best thing you can do, And like I said, this is not like an advice channel. Like, I'm preaching to myself as much as I'm preaching to you. Like, I'm just talking from my, heart right now. And what I'm feeling, I feel like that past 15 minutes or so, that was really just God like letting me speak it out. I told you guys, like, this channel, this is therapy for me. This is just a lot of me talking it out, and maybe somebody's listening and maybe someone can relate and maybe not. I don't know, but just me needing to get it off my chest. But yeah, so kind of, I guess, like a two kind of topic podcast, but late adopters and discouragement with no results. Yeah, that's all I got. I don't really have anything else to say, I don't think. I always listen to my videos or like my podcast like back after I put them out, and by that time it's like been like a week, sometimes 4 weeks if I record like really far ahead. And then it's like, man, I wish I would have said this. Or, man, I just saw like a really good quote on Instagram 2 days ago that would have been good on that. But it's like, you know what? If I didn't know it by the time I recorded it, it just, wasn't meant to be in here. And I'm sure it's something like we're going to revisit, because this is all a continuous journey. Life is a continuous journey. Faith is a continuous journey. Like, there's no ending point. Like, it's just adapting and learning more and more, like, as you go, with the highs of life and with the lows of life. I think both teach you something about someone along the way. You learn as you go. So yeah, again, I appreciate you so much. If you are somebody who regularly watches, or even if you're just watching and listening to this episode, thank you. Appreciate you so much. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you do not, follow me on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and or Google Podcasts, whatever platform you're listening on. Make sure to follow me. My socials are linked below, or listed below, I should say. Make sure you follow me if you do not already on Instagram and Twitter. And yeah, podcasts, like I said in the last episode, like, we're popping them out as quickly as we can. Sometimes it's going to be every week. Sometimes it's going to be every other week. Right now, this quarantine's just kind of crazy. So every day's different. Every week's different. So yeah, I'll get you content as soon as it's ready to go out. It's going out. Like, that's my motto the past 2 to 3 weeks. I told Ryan, I was like, listen, podcast is done, put it out. Vlog's done, put it out. Like, I'm not even waiting anymore. Like, let's just get stuff out. I got stuff to say, and I want people to see it and experience it. So push that content. Yeah, but I hope you all stay healthy. Really hope you all stay healthy. I hope you all stay safe. If you have anything to say, comment, message me. Would love to hear from you. Ideas of anything you think I should talk about. Always up for that as well. So I appreciate you guys so much. I hope you have a great week going forward, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.